Good morning, guys. Welcome back. I finally got my new phone, so I'm so excited. It's Queen Cleo, and let's get into this video. Okay, today I'm talking about pagan worship and pagan holidays. So let's get it started. As you know, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so that means that we are the people of the Bible. We are the people that God speak up in the Bible. And Hebrew Israelites are black people. They're people of color. That is a Hebrew Israelite. So I'm so happy and excited that I can share with you just coming into the truth. Last year in December, my husband came into the truth, and then he told me and my kids, and my whole world was rocked, because all I knew growing up was, you know, I'm a Christian, I go to church on Sunday, I worship on Sunday, and that was it. But not to find out that, you know, the Sabbath was always Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. When Constantine, he was a Roman god, changed it one day. He woke up and was like, I don't want to worship on Sunday. I don't want to worship, on Saturday. I want to worship the sun on Sunday. So that's how Sunday worship came into, you know, America and Roman Christianity. That's what we serve. That's what I was serving until last year. And that's what, like, most of my family and my friends are doing. They're doing Roman Christianity. That's not the that's not the Christianity that God intended us to serve. He intended us to follow the laws, the statutes and commandments. He didn't intend for us to, you know, worship the sun, because the sun is in the sky. God intended us to worship him who is in heaven. And, you know, our history has been whitewashed, and it's just not, you know, telling the truth that, you know, black people were the chosen people. It's not up for the debate, because I don't debate. That's my disclaimer. I don't debate when it comes to the Bible. If you want to know anything, you can read the Bible. Start from Genesis, and then you can take it all the way to Revelation. You can go in between, because you're not going to be able to read the whole entire Bible in one sitting. So I would tell you to get to know God through the Bible. We are here as Hebrew Israelites to enlighten others that, you know, the stranger, the Gentiles, the other nations that don't know. We were put here to taught and spread the gospel. So that's what I'm doing. So now, this time of year, I'm gonna start off with something. I was just riding in the car, dropping my children off, and I heard about the Popeye sandwich. And it makes me feel so angry inside, because you literally have to fight with others about the truth and the knowledge about God. But you will fight over a sandwich that is put here as a promotion to sell something. Popeyes is a brand, and I've worked for them, and it is a great brand. I don't have any complaints about Popeyes, but it's not Popeyes that is creating the, you know, drama. It's the people behind, who are the customers, that are fighting over the sandwiches, that are doing things that God tell you not to do. He told you never to fight and worship anything other than him. So if you're worshiping a sandwich, then you're in direct disrespect of God. God told you to be a peculiar people. He told you to walk in his light, walk in his sight. God tell you not to act out of order. And a sandwich is a sandwich. So you don't need to fight over it. But that's the disconnect with Hebrews. That's why, you know, in the Bible times, we were put back, and the Gentiles were put in front of us, because they loved Jesus, they respected Jesus. And God put curses upon the Hebrews for disrespecting him, worshiping false gods. Like in the Bible, you know, when Moses went up 40 days and 40 nights to, you know, get the commandments from the Lord. And the people got, you know, restless, and it was like, make us a god, this whole Aaron. And they made a gold calf, and then they worship it. And he was really mad. He was angry. Like, how can you worship something that's over the Almighty, the Omega God, who made the earth? He made everything in the world in 6 days, and he rested on the Sabbath, the 7th day. So it's not up for discussion. The Sabbath day is Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. It's one day. We were never intended to worship on Sunday. But back to the, the Popeye sandwich. With like Hebrews, it's like you just want to be, relevant. Some of us, like, who are not in the truth. Like, yes, I wear designer, but I also wear things that are not of designer. And I'm not going to spend like thousands of dollars on a particular item because I feel like it's not worth it. When I have a company, I have family, I have kids. Like, I don't want to, like, these worldly possessions are not going with me. So I'd rather help somebody who's in need. I'd rather, like, style a woman who doesn't have the money to, like, go to a nice interview. Give back. God tell you to pay your tithes and give back. And you have to, like, think about other people other than you. So I'm just, like, appalled at what I see in the, the world. Like, coming up, I always saw, like, people, in my family and others, like, I was around, like, spend money on, like, things that, they could, like, save the money and they be, broke next week. Like, you should have not spent all your money on one item. Like, God tell you to, be smart, save your money, and really give to others before you, like, think about yourself. It's okay, he's going to bless you with everything you need, but you still have to, with your blessings, you bless others. So, take and give to others. It's not all about you. So what our Hebrews, like, when we get away from in the holidays, it's like everybody's happy, everybody joy, but they're not doing their research. This is a pagan worship. Every holiday has a pagan worship behind it. When it starts from, in February, Valentine's, that's pagan worship. It starts, when we get into April, well, March or whatever, Easter has a pagan ritual. When you go to Mother's Day, Father's Day, that's pagan. When you go to, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of these days, man-made holidays, are pagan worship connected to them. God never intended for us to celebrate any in the Bible. Leviticus 23rd chapter will tell you, these are the feasts of the Lord's, and you should celebrate them in their season. That's like in church, like first Sunday. You do not, take communion every Sunday. It's supposed to be celebrated on a particular feast day. Passover. You have to follow his ways. Like, the mindset of the Hebrews now, or the people who don't know the Hebrews, or our black community, is like, oh, because it's shown on TV or it's celebrated by the world. God told you to be ye separate. Be ye separate. That's from the world. He doesn't want you to sit here and, like, celebrate these holidays because they're man-made. And anything a man, you need to research, because God didn't tell you, it would have been, in Leviticus 23rd chapter, celebrate Christmas, celebrate Easter. No, he never said that. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, follow my laws and statutes. So that's a direct disrespect to God for celebrating these holidays. And I know, like, I'm 33. I've been celebrating holidays since I was, like, a kid. And I saw my mama work, and I saw my mama have to work 2 and 3 jobs because she had to support all of us, 4 kids. And I watched my mama, like, get frustrated because she got to, do bills and then, do our Christmas. Like, but it was all a lie. It was all a lie. This is not what we were supposed to celebrate. We don't supposed to celebrate these pagan worship days, these holidays. Those are not for us to celebrate. And I know it's going to be a big slap in the face to you, and you will be like, oh, Khalil don't know what she's talking about. But Queen Khalil knows who she is. My dad named me Cleopatra for a reason. And with the Egyptian title to it, I don't celebrate it. I don't get any clout off of who she was, because I am not Egyptian. I am Cleopatra, and that's what God intended, my dad intended for my name to be. He knew I was a queen. He knew I was a leader. He knew that I was going to be something because God instilled that in him. So that's what he named me. I have brothers and sisters who have queen names and king names. That's what he wanted to name us, because he believed in us. Like, he knew that we were a people of God. So with that, like, in these religions, like, again, one religion, one God. God made it to where his word would be spread all over the 4 corners of the world. So if you're Indian, his name God. If you're Spanish, his name God. But it's going to be in different tongues so you can understand it. like, I spoke with one of my coworkers, and she said she worshiped, you know, something else, like a woman. I'm like, God is not a woman. He's a being. He has, like, a, you know, a feminine side. He has a masculine side. He is not, like, you can't put a gender on God. Like, you have to, like, seek him. And now we have all this, you know, different religions. No, we don't supposed to. It's only one God. He made several nations. But we don't supposed to, like, oh, this is my God and that's your God. No, we have one God, one religion. And when you get into the Bible, it will tell you, it will comfort you. It will anger you at first when you know that your history was whitewashed. You know, February, Black History Month is like so short. But our history goes longer than, you know, what the world can give us. God gave us our history. We are Hebrew Israelites. We are a peculiar people. We are put here to lead. We were supposed to be the leaders, the lender, not the one that you have to, you know, go get a loan or, you know, sit in someone's office. We are supposed to be those people. But our ancestors disrespected God. And God had to show them. And we are in captivity. We're not in our homeland. We are of Israel. That's where we are. We're not African Americans. No, they can't put a title on something that God ordained us to be. No, that is not our homeland. That's not. We've been scattered across the four corners of the world. And when I say I'm so blessed, I'm so thankful for my God who exposed us to my husband, and then he showed us, like, pastors who are into the truth, like pastors who changed their church. My Pastor Johnson in Fort Lauderdale, he changed his whole church when he found out the truth. My Pastor Bowie, who's been doing this for a long time in Chicago, and I'm so thankful to be led by men. Like, it's just significant because I always, you know, dealt with things like doctors, men, you know, important things. Not saying women are not less important, but God put a man here to lead, and we are to follow what God wants. We have an important part of, you know, life too. God said mankind, that means woman and man. But he made Adam first and then Eve. It's not no twisted story like I picked up. God created man, the world, man, you know, animals, and then Eve. That's how it went. There's no twist to the King James Version. Like, everybody needs to, you know, put their emotions out of what God wants us to be. We're here to serve him. We're here to empower each other. Hebrews, do not fight over what's, you know, you know, certain things in the Bible. The 400 years, don't fight over that. It's in the Bible. God tells you when he's coming back, when he's returning on the 8th day, he tells you. But he not going to say 2020, 2021. He not going to tell you that. He said, you have to read the scriptures. If you love me, you got to stay in the word day in and day out. You got to put priesthood upon priesthood. You have to read between the lines when it comes to the Bible. You cannot think God's going to give you just something like in plain sight. He'll give it to you in visions and dreams. And, you know, some people like me, like, I actually hear the intercessor when I'm, like, sad. Like, I hear comfort. And I know it's of him. It's like the Bible scriptures are talking, you know, they're talking. Or you are really in a bad mood. And, you know, God sees that. So he sends you a special message. But you have to read into it because they're evil spirits. There's things that come in his name that are not him. False prophets. You have to always pray when you go into anywhere in the world. Come out your house or you're interacting with somebody. Their spirits can be on them. And the spirits know the word because the devil knows the word. He came from God. So he knows. So you have to be careful. You got to be prayed up. You got to continue to pray. You got to continue to let God lead you and get to the truth yourself. Like, this world is not of God. God created it. He created all the mankind. But they're gotten away from what God wants. And it's sad, like, to see my family members, my friends, and I just came into it. And I've been doing this since, you know, December of last year. But I told myself, like, God, if this is true, then you reveal everything to me. You calm me. I had to close my husband out. I had to close my boss out and let them know, like, I'm taking this to God. He is going to calm me. He's going to give me the answer. So God has calmed me. He has centered me. He has blessed my family tremendously. Like, God is everything. And he always been everything to me. And he's more, you know, to me now because I know how to serve him the right way. I know what not to consume. I know what not to celebrate. I know how not to treat others. To love everybody, because I'm a Hebrew. I spread the gospel at my job. I spread the gospel if I'm in the store. Like, if God wants me to talk to somebody, he will let me know. He will send signs. I've been in Walmart, my place where I work, and I'm just walking down the aisle and go speak. And I go speak, and the person is so receptive to what I'm saying. And it was like, thank God you saw me, because I was feeling so confused. And I don't want the praise. The praise goes to God, the Messiah. I don't want to get famous because I'm talking about this. I don't want fame. I want to be in the bosom of the Lord. I want to be, where he says, job well done. This is for him. This is not for me. The world can't give me happiness. The world can't give me joy. He can. And my job is to spread the gospel. My job is to do what God tell me to do and act as a Hebrew Israelite at all times. And I teach my kids that. You have to treat others with respect. And you have to let others know that this is wrong. Consuming pork, eating crab, lobster, shrimp, that's wrong. Because God tell you, if it don't have fins and scales, don't eat it. If, it don't chew the grass, but it split the hoof and cloven foot, he don't have all three. Pigs consume their babies. Pigs consume, feces. Pigs consume anything. They're here to clean up the world. That's their purpose. We are not supposed to eat pork, period. Never touch it. If you're eating it, it's connected to all kind of cancers and sickness, high blood pressure. Hebrews are among the worst with high blood pressure and cholesterol because of what they consume and what they're seasoned with. You have to come away from it and this mentality, I was born a Christian. I was born a Baptist. I'm going to die a Baptist. No, you were not born a Baptist. You were born a Hebrew Israelite. God told you that you take his word wherever you're dwelling, like wherever you living at. You can have Bible study like me and my family every Friday in my home until we visit my church in Fort Lauderdale, Bethel, House of God, or till we visit in Chicago, Israel God. Check those people out. Brother Bowie, Pastor Johnson, they're great teachers. And they don't want the praise. They want to do what God tells them to do. I'm so thankful for what God has, changed my life. I don't really, get crazy about anything other than God and my family. Like, I say crazy over joy and, I really blessed to see, I am so focused. Like, God has blessed me with a business, Styles 3P. I started I started in 2014, but I didn't act on it. But this year, God has really said, you're going to do this. You're not running from this. When it came about, in 2014, I got so much, people following me and wanting to do work with me. And I got really scared. I was fearful. And I was like, God, I don't want this. I don't want this. But he was like, no, you want it. It's your purpose. You cannot run away from it. This is something that I gave you, and you're going to do it. You're not running, and I'm not running. I'm not running anymore. So I'm so thankful for what he has, positioned me to do. He has positioned me to have my business, positioned me to have my job, positioned me and my husband to get a home. And I'm telling you, he didn't position us until we got married. So God told me, you're not getting a home. Not, literally, but that was the sign. We could not find a home until we got married, until we got ourselves in order. And now we are a team. We are Hebrew. We are under the marital covenant of Israel. So we're in line with God wants. God wants you to stop fornicating. He wants you to stop celebrating these holidays. Stop shacking up. You know, once you sleep with somebody, you know, back in the Bible times, they were married. That's your wife. That's your husband. You know, you already went into her as the man. So you have to get married. So you have to take into consideration what God wants. Stop fornicating. Stop sinning. And the holidays like coming up on Black Friday. And like I encourage my coworkers, like, don't be scared. If you feel like you're being disrespected, you walk. You tell that manager, I'm not going to stay here. Because I'm not going to be disrespected over a pagan holiday. Where people are fighting over material things. You cannot take it when you pass away. And you sleep until God comes get you. You're not taking that to the dust. It says, from dust you came from, and from dust you will return. You cannot take any material things to the grave. Like burying people with money, burying people with jewelry, that all fades away. They can't take it with them. We were born in this world by ourselves. We were born ourselves naked. Like we were with nothing. So you're going to return naked with anything. Well, you know, they bury you in clothes and stuff like that, but they're going to wear off. And you're waiting for God to call you up on the 8th, you know, when he comes back on the 8th day. When God returns, the slain of the Lord is going to be many. He's coming back for his people, but he also is coming back to reward the wicked and the workers of iniquity. That's who he's coming back to, what to do. That's who he's coming back to remind. When you had the chances, you know, to serve me right, you didn't listen. I sent my Hebrews to you. You did not listen. You did not take heed to what they said. You didn't take heed to what they said. God will send you like he sent to my husband, and my husband sent, you know, taught us. Excuse me. It started with our children, and then, you know, I came along. And now my job is to spread the gospel. Don't celebrate these pagan holidays. They're pagan. Oh, I want to be with my family. Okay, then you can pick another time. Worship on a feast day. Show them how to do, you know, unleavened bread, Passover, Pentecost, the Feast of, you know, of Trumpets, the Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, the 8th day. Teach them how to do that. The feast that he speaks about. He told you to make a memorial of the feast days and find out what they mean. Just don't celebrate them. Celebrate them. Find out what they mean. The meaning behind the feast days. He gives you tools in life to live by. He gives you tools in life to get to salvation, because the salvation is everything. And you can't get to the salvation by being nasty, by talking and slandering other people's names. You can't get to salvation you can't get to salvation being a mean and evil and manipulative person that is not of God. You cannot do that. You have to serve him and serve him right. He is the Omega. He created us. We owe him everything. He died for us. The Messiah came to uphold the law. He didn't come to change it. The sacrificial law went out the door when he came. He's the first fruits. He took the place of the sacrificial law. He was sacrificed. He died for our sins. He didn't have to come, but he wanted to make it all right. Because Adam and Eve brought death when they disrespected God and listened to the serpent in the garden. We were never supposed to die. So now we have to die. So, you know, I used to fear death, but I don't fear death anymore, because I know I have a life outside of that. I have a place where I'm going to, but I have to serve him. I can't be jealous. I can't, you know, lie on others. I can't be an adulterous woman. I can't, you know, steal. I can't kill. None of that. I am reminded by these 10 commandments. I don't have to wear fringes. We are not under that law anymore. We have to be reminded how to serve God and how to act as a people. Stop with the sandwiches. Stop with the designer bags. Stop. I mean, you can buy whatever you want, but stop flashing this stuff on Facebook and Instagram, you know, for, you know, just clout. Stop doing it. You can buy nice things, but you don't have to show, you know, everybody, and you have to act out because everybody's doing it. I am separate. Be ye separate. Always been separate. Always been out the crowd. I always stood out because God ordained me to stand out. He knew me before I knew myself. And now I know myself. I know my identity. I am a Hebrew Israelite. You are a Hebrew Israelite. Do not celebrate the pagan days. Do not worship on the pagan worship days. All this holidays, stop it. It is pagan. It's not of God. Jesus was not born on the 25th. There's no record. And you cannot pick every day as your Sabbath. The Sabbath is Friday, sundown, and Saturday, sundown. And I'm telling you this because I love you. I don't want you to go to the lake of fire. But I can't change your mind. I'm here to spread the gospel. I'm thankful for the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, and the calmness. But I'm here to spread the word. It's dire that you stop it. Because he doesn't deal with emotions. God knows your heart, but also he knows your mind. And your heart is here. He knows that he told you how to serve him. And if you're not serving him the right way, then God will hold you to the candle. He will. And when he said, I sent the Hebrew to tell you, you didn't hearken your heart. So, get away from me, working of iniquity. I never knew you. It's now. I know your grandmama celebrated. I know your mama celebrated. But be ye separate. I am separate from my family. I'm not celebrating holidays anymore. Feast days is only the holy days. Remember the fourth commandment. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. One religion. One God. And I am a Hebrew Israelite. And thank you. And I hope you like this video and subscribe. I'll have more videos about my fashion and my company coming along, but right now I just want to focus on the pagan, holidays and the pagan worship. Just, trying to get my message out. And this is all for God and the Messiah, who I love and who I worship. He is my king. He is my everything. And I will love him. And I hope you guys get to love him the way I love him. And I hope I didn't scare anybody, but this is the truth. Seek him for yourself. Pray every day. Don't move your car. Don't go out your house. Don't let your kids go out the house without prayer. Because we're living in the last days. And I just want you to know I love you guys. And we're going to get through this. Like, it takes so much out of me when I speak of him. Because I know that it's true. I know he is everything. And he's pushing me because I was a shy person. But now I'm woke. And I am a Hebrew Israelite. And I want you guys to be woke as well. So I just want you guys to know I love you. Stay blessed and seek him. Peace.